Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George, and if this is your first time here, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button for me, and turn on notification bells. That way you are alerted when I go live or when I drop a video. And if you've been here before and haven't done so, let me know what I'm doing wrong. Let me know what I'm doing wrong to get you to subscribe. All right. Disappointing end to this road trip. Yeah. Of course, if you guys ask me, hey, would you be happy with a 3-2 result on this crazy, scary 5-game road trip that began on the second game of a back-to-back in Boston? I would totally sign up for that. However, the way that we had been playing makes this one very difficult to swallow. The New York Knicks went to Minnesota, Thibodeau's former employer. Carl Anthony Towns is still there, and the Knicks, they battled. They battled for the first two quarters. They were only down 2 points going into the half, and then came out in the third quarter listless. There was nothing. They had nothing. They just rolled over for these Timberwolves and never quite could recover. They tried. They made a valiant attempt to kind of get it down to like 10 points because in the NBA. The old adage is still, if you can chop a lead down to 10 points or less with 4 minutes left in the game, it's anybody's game. And the Knicks were close. They were making it. They were making it interesting, but they never could quite get over the hump. Like you can see here, this is the lead tracker. As you can see, we even had the lead at one point in that second quarter, and then it was not a good close to the quarter itself, to that half, and then they came out and boom. Timberwolves just went on a run. We had no response. We shot 20% from the three-point line in that third quarter. 10 attempts, only connected on 2. Overall, even inside the arc, we only shot 27.3%. So we were 4 of 12 inside the arc, so 33% inside the arc. That's just not going to do it in the NBA. And then we allowed the Timberwolves to kind of start feeling themselves. They shot 42% in that third quarter, 62.5% from the three-point line. They hit 5 of 8 from the three-point line. Anthony Edwards, who woke up, he was having a very listless first half. What did he have? The first half, he only had 4 points. Anthony Edwards only had 4 points on 7 shot attempts, but then he came out in that third quarter and just took off. He provided 11 points. He was 4 of 8 overall in that third quarter, and he followed that up in the fourth quarter with a similar result. He played another 10 minutes. Oh, he played 10 minutes in that fourth quarter. He was 3 of 6 overall. So for the second half, he was 7 of... Oh, nice. He was 7 of 14. 7 of 14. He shot 50%. But, man, the Minnesota defense is real. That's for sure. But our defense is real as well. So, what happened today, I don't want to blame the schedule, but the schedule has not been kind to the Knicks, especially in the early part of this season with a plethora of back-to-backs. In fact, this road trip began, like I said, got opened earlier in the show, at the second game of a back-to-back. And then on top of that, the refs. The refs were letting the Timberwolves get away with murder for those first 3 quarters, constantly grabbing and tugging and holding, and they never called it. Not one time. I don't understand that. And then also, the Knicks didn't adjust. They should have been playing. Then, if they can see that the Timberwolves aren't getting those, if the refs aren't calling the Timberwolves on those calls, they should start doing the same thing. You gotta look at how the game is being called and respond to it. We never did. It was almost like, well, for one thing, there's that whole weird dynamic between Julius Randle and Karl Anthony Towns. They both went to Kentucky. They know each other well, and there's all these rumors of trades and all that stuff. So I think it may have gotten into Julius's head a little too much, and he tried to hero ball it. And to show you that the Knicks only had 16 assists for the whole game. 16 assists. So that's not going to cut it. Here, the final box score, 16 assists for the Knicks, and the Timberwolves had 30. The Knicks for the game shot an overall under 35%. Wow. From the three-point line, they shot 23.7%, 9 of 38. If you can't make buckets, you're not going to win. Let's get to the stats here. Here we go. As you can see, 117-100. We barely broke the century mark, or even got to the century mark. Julius Randle, you look at his stat line, you're like, wait a second, not such a bad game. But no, only 1 assist for him. That is just not going to work. He needs to be the provider. What he had been doing, he had 3 8-assist games in a row, and we won those 3 games. Tonight, only 1 assist, and we lose. Correlation? Absolutely. Absolutely. He did finish with 21 points, and he got 14 rebounds, 34 minutes for him. Mitch Robinson, once again, was a beast inside, but, the man can only do so much. He is only one man, though sometimes he does guard 3 people in a single possession. Sometimes he guards 2 people in the same moment, which is amazing. He finished with 10 points, 11 rebounds. He even took Rudy Gobert off the dribble from the top of the three-point line all the way and dunked it. It was a beautiful moment. I want to see more of that. We're starting to see it. We saw it once or twice earlier this year, so it'd be nice to see that more of that. Jalen Brunson was the only truly effective offensive player tonight. He finished with 25 points, shot 7 of 15 overall, 3 of 6 from the three-point line, 4 rebounds, 6 dimes. He actually had a very good game. He tried to take charges. He tried to be disruptive on that end, but he was the only starter who got it going tonight. Because even RJ was forcing it. He got off to a really pretty cold start. He finally got something going, but he finished with 14.7 rebounds, only 1 assist. 14 points on, 13 shot attempts. That's not going to work. It's not going to work. And he got off to a good start in the first quarter. He was 3 of 6. So, and he hit both of his 3-point attempts in that first quarter. So he did finish 3 of 4 from the three-point line, which was nice. He was the only effective, he and Brunson were the only effective three-point shooters. They were 6 of 10. The rest of the team were 3 of 28. Yikes. Horror show. This is not going to be there's no highlights. It's not going to be a long recap. I just can't handle it. I apologize. It's just disappointing because the narratives, even though the Knicks are going to get 3 days off, which they needed, the narratives are going to be, we can't beat the good teams and all that stuff. All right. We didn't do it tonight. But this game is not indicative of the team that this team is. Not the way I look at it. So that's why I'm even more disappointed than most of you probably. Because there was a moment there I thought, you know what? This team was battling. They had nothing going in that first half. Let me see. What was let me give you the shooting percentages in the first half. In the first half, the Knicks were shooting just as bad. They were shooting 37% overall and 27% from the three-point line. But the Timberwolves were only shooting 25% from the three-point line. Now, they were cooking inside. They were 52.5%. But they were only up by 2 points. The score was 58-56 at the half. Kind of hard to believe that when you look at the final right here. When you look at the final like that, that's terrible. So it just shows that the game was right there. I thought the Knicks were going to come out with that same hunger that they showed in Atlanta because that was a game they needed to win. They needed to make a statement against Atlanta, and they came out in that third quarter, and they really put the Hawks. They basically choked the Hawks in that third quarter. Instead, it was the other way around tonight where the Timberwolves did to us what we did to the Hawks in that third quarter. So once that happened, it was like such a struggle. The ball didn't move, not enough passing, not enough shot making. Dante DiVincenzo, as you can see, follows up his career night, just kind of like the way Emmanuel Quickley followed up his amazing night in D.C., with the not a clunker, but just a lackluster game on Saturday against the Hornets. And then tonight, an inefficient 14 shot attempts to give you 15 points. But at least he was trying, and a lot of those rattled in and out. It was just rattlers. I could count at least 4 of them that rattled, maybe even more. So let's say, 3 of those 5 drop in, and it's 7 of 14. It's a different story for him. So he was at least looking good. DiVincenzo, nada. 1 of 6 from the three-point line. Quickly, 1 of 7 from the three-point line. Just not going to cut it. These guys, 2 of 13 together. That's what their job is. They are there to provide us with three-point shooting, long distance. They're supposed to be the long distance threat. Tonight it didn't happen. I'm not going to overreact and read too much into this game in terms of the future. I don't think this is indicative of that. It's hard to put that much emphasis on the fifth game of a weird-ass road trip where the Knicks played 5 games in a week, basically. A week ago tonight, they were in Boston. So, I'm not going to overdo it. However, they should have come out with more fire. Should have. And Randall should have been more aware of the style of play that leads to success and not revert back to his bullshit style from a couple of seasons ago. So those kind of things are what's annoying me. And then Thibs, you could see he was frustrated as fuck. You could see him on the sidelines. He was like grimacing and frustrated because he doesn't want to lose to his former team either. So it was a lot of things going on here, and this was a very frustrating. This was like, oh man, just a really frustrating game. It was a frustrating game. Josh Hart, even he, only 4 points for him, 2 of 6, 0 for 2 from the 3-point line, passed up on a 3-point shot, and then, passing up on shots. Guys they weren't confident tonight, and they were passing up on shots, so then they were trying to find the next shot, and then a lot of times it was just a heave to just beat the shot clock. And that's another reason why Quickly's percentages are so low, because unfortunately, when he was on the floor, the ball ended up in his hands a few times, and then the other times it was with RJ. For some reason, RJ and Quickly end up getting those last-second shot clocker heaves. I don't know why that is, but it's just the way it is. Just the way it is. The plus-minus, so you can see the first unit was just in shambles. Quentin Grimes did play today. Kind of buried the lead. Didn't make 1 point. 0 points. Zero for Quentin Grimes. Now I get it, whatever, your hand. But 0? Bro? There were moments there. There was one time when the Knicks had chopped a 19-point deficit down to 13. And the ball was in Quentin's hands. He was open. He put the shot up, and I thought, wow, this is it. This is when we're going to get it to 10. Nothing. Clank. 0 for 6. Just not going to cut it in this NBA, man. Especially against a quality team. Minnesota is a very quality team. They're 10-3 now. The Knicks dropped to 8-6. Where are we in the standings? I believe we dropped below. We let Orlando jump above us. So now we are 8-6. We're in 7th place. But again, not going to overread too much into this. We're still third in points differential, which is very important. What else? What else is there to talk about here? It's such a bummer of a game. Here, the Timberwolves, so you can see, Edwards, he didn't have a great game. It was bullshit. 23 points. He needed 21 shot attempts to give you 23 points. He was 1 of 6 from the 3-point line. He did get 10 rebounds. He just kept going. He just kept doing his thing. And he had a good second half, but a terrible first half. And, that shouldn't be enough to beat these Knicks. It should not. But Naz Reid, who is the guy who I actually wanted instead of Isaiah Hartenstein, because look at this guy. I know he only shot 1 of 6 from the 3-point line tonight, but he is a very good 3-point shooter for a big, like a real 3-point shooter for a big. He finished with 10 points. He's averaging, I think, 12 or 13 points a game right now, and he's coming off the bench. So he's a real quality player. The other thing that was really disappointing about the way that the Knicks played tonight and the way they and this loss is that the Timberwolves lost Jaden McDaniels early on in that first quarter. He only played 5 minutes, and he left. So he's one of their best defenders, and we couldn't capitalize on that. Very disappointing. This is a game that is going to be. It's gonna feel like acid reflux on that flight home for these Knicks players. It's gonna be like, it's gonna keep coming up. This is a game we should have won. This team is not better than the Knicks. It's not. But tonight they were on their home court and they took care of business. The Knicks did not. So shout out to them. But hopefully the Knicks will get revenge back at Madison Square Garden when they play them next, because I do not like losing to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here are the team stats, the comps here. As you can see, the Timberwolves shot 51% overall. The Knicks shot under 35%. So when you look at that, you're not going to win. But we did get 12 additional shot attempts. That's one of our magic components that we put together here. And we did go to the free throw line 34 times, connected on 27, which is nice. But Julius Randle shot from the free throw line. I'm going to have to pull it up over here. He just kept missing. What did he shoot from the free throw line? Julius shot 8 of 12. Well, he finally, in the fourth quarter, he started connecting. In the fourth quarter, which is nice. Because in the first quarter, well, he didn't even go to the free throw line there. Second quarter, he was 1 of 2. Third quarter, he was 1 of 2. And then in the fourth quarter, it was 6 of 8. He still kept missing. Frustrating. I'm going to say frustrating a lot tonight. 50 rebounds for the Knicks, 44 for the Timberwolves, 17 offensive rebounds for the New York Knickerbockers. At least they came through on that, and that's one of the reasons why we were out at all in this game in that first half. But look at the assists. 30 for the Timberwolves, 16. Just 16 for the Knicks. Atrocious. We won the steals battle, lost the blocks. The total turnovers, we only committed 10. That's one thing. I think we only had, what do we have? We had in the first half, I think we only had 3 turnovers in the first half. Yep, 3 turnovers in the first half, so committed 7 in the second half. That's another reason we got sloppy with the ball in that third quarter, and the Timberwolves capitalized on that. Fast break points were even, 24 all. Points in the paint, they actually won that battle tonight. Usually the Knicks win that battle, but they won it tonight, 48-38. They were a plus 10 there. As you can see, we actually had a 2-point lead at one time. The largest lead for the Timberwolves was 22 points. Very disappointing game. Especially coming back, and now they got Thanksgiving, and we have the Miami Heat on Friday. That is a game that these Knicks must win. No excuses. Grimes, get your shit together. Get your head out of your ass. Start making buckets, boy. That's your job. Brother. Make buckets. You're a great defender. We're going to need that. But you got to make buckets. It's frustrating as hell when you don't. I think RJ's going to have a pretty decent game. You know, he needed a few games to shake the rust off. You can see, even though tonight wasn't a good overall efficient night for him, you can see him trying to figure it out. He's going to get there. Julius, we need you to get back to this, the guy who can anticipate what the defense is going to do and spray the ball out to who is going to become the open guy, not after. You know, don't be reactionary. Look at what's happening and then anticipate. Don't react. Anticipate. That's the beauty of what you were doing in those previous 3 games. You can do it against Miami. Beat the shit out of the Miami Heat, please. I want that win on Friday. I want to celebrate on Black Friday. Let's go. All right. Thank you so much for watching this. Again, my name is George. Please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to the channel. Drop your comments. I want to hear your thoughts and feelings about this. Hit the thumbs up button and share this video. If you want to share it, please share it. I appreciate all the support and the Knicks-Verse. And also, hey, we got merch. Go to the channel on YouTube. There's a link there to the store. There's hats. There's t-shirts and stuff. Christmas is coming. Get on it. Let's go. All right, people. Thank you so much for watching this. I will see you around the Knicks-Verse.